Hi Bold Bakers, without a doubt cinnamon rolls are one of my guilty pleasures, but they actually take quite a long time to make because it's a yeasted dough. Well, I have got a real game changer. I'm going to show you how you can make cinnamon rolls from start to finish in less than an hour because my dough has no yeast in it. As always, the recipe can be found on biggerbolderbaking.com along with hundreds of other recipes, so make sure you go check them out. Okay, let's start with our cinnamon filling. So into a bowl, we're going to add in some brown sugar, some cinnamon, and then melted butter. Then just mix all these ingredients together. So this is looking good. Now we're going to set it aside and bring in our other bowl. So for our dough, we're going to add in our flour, a little bit of sugar, and baking powder. And then just give all these ingredients a mix together. So now our next ingredient is cold cubed butter. This is really important because it makes the cinnamon rolls really lovely and flaky. And then with your clean hands, we're going to go and rub the butter in until it resembles kind of coarse breadcrumbs. Now you can always do this step with a dough cutter, that's totally fine. I like to get stuck in with my hands just so I know what's going on. Just takes a few minutes and then your dough should look like this. Okay, so this is looking good. We're going to set this over to the side and then we're going to mix together our wet ingredients. So into a jug, we're going to add some sour cream, egg yolks, and vanilla extract. And then just with a fork, mix these ingredients together. So if you want to replace the egg yolks in this recipe, check the recipe on my website because I give substitutions there. The sour cream in this recipe is really important because it makes the cinnamon rolls really tender and soft. Okay, lovely. Those are our wet ingredients. Here are our dry. Now we're going to add one into the other. So now I get so many questions about doughs being really soft, too wet, too dry. So here's the secret. Hold a little bit of your liquid back. Don't add it all in at once. I add in like maybe 3/4, mix it with your hand and then see if you need that extra bit of liquid. And this will make sure that your dough is the perfect consistency. So I can see my dough needs a little bit more liquid, so I'm going to add the rest of it in. So another reason I love this recipe, it's fast and you don't need a machine to make it. You can do it all by hand. So here you go. As you can see, my dough has come together. It's a little bit on the loose side, but this is perfect. Now I'm going to turn this out onto a floured surface. I already know by the look of this dough that it's going to be really great. It's really easy to work with. It also smells amazing. So I'm pretty excited. So now what you want to do is roll this dough out to roughly 12 inches by around 16 to 18 inches. You'll get a nice big rectangle. Okay, so this is looking good. Here I have my cinnamon filling and now we're going to spread it all the way around, leaving a little bit of a border so you don't bring it all the way to the edge. So as you can see, I left around 1/2 inch border and you want to do this so your filling doesn't spill out. Now we're going to roll it up. So what you do is you go to the longer side and then very carefully just roll it up until you get a nice big log. So if you're doing yeasted cinnamon rolls, we would have had to wait for this dough to proof, but we can use this straight away so it's much faster. Now, if you're the kind of person who likes raisins, pecans, whatever you like in your cinnamon rolls, feel free to add them on top of the filling. As you're rolling, just roll the dough nice and tight just to make sure that there's no gaps in your rolls. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our log. We're going to cut up our cinnamon rolls. Now, a ruler is super important in the kitchen. I use mine every day because we're going to want to cut these guys around 1.5 inches thick. And you're going to need a ruler to know what that is. So it's really important that you use a serrated knife to cut them so you don't drag the dough and you still get that lovely spiral in the middle. Now, as you can see, this is going to get you around 12 cinnamon rolls. So that is definitely enough to feed a hungry family. Okay, perfect. And as you can see, look at that lovely swirl in the middle. This is gorgeous. Now what we want to do is get these guys into our prepared tin. So here I have a 10-inch round tin. It has been buttered and lined. You want to make sure that it's lined so your cinnamon rolls pop right out. So start around the edge and sit the cinnamon rolls right beside each other. Because this isn't a yeasted dough, they will rise, but not as much as a yeasted dough would. Feel free to leave them really snug in beside each other. I roughly get around 9 around the outside and then 3 in the middle. Okay, so now at this stage, you can actually cover these and put them into the fridge and then bake them off whenever you want them. However, we are going to pop them now straight into the oven. They don't need to proof, they don't need to rise. We are ready to rock and roll. Bake your cinnamon rolls off at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for roughly 35 to 40 minutes or until a lovely golden brown. So while our cinnamon rolls are baking, getting nice and toasty in the oven, we're going to make our cream cheese glaze, because you cannot have cinnamon rolls without a cream cheese glaze. So into my bowl, I'm going to add in some cream cheese, some room temperature butter, and I make sure it's room temperature because it needs to be nice and soft so you can mix it, and then powdered sugar. And then with a whisk, just mix these all together until it's nice and smooth and there's no lumps. Okay, so that is our cream cheese glaze. Our timer just went off, so that's perfect timing. Let's go check on our cinnamon rolls. My cinnamon rolls are done and they look great. So your cinnamon rolls are done when they're a beautiful golden brown, just like this. So while they're still warm, fresh out of the oven, I like to put on the glaze. I feel like it soaks into the dough much better. Let's just go ahead and smear it all over. So don't be shy with this. Perfect. So without a doubt, cinnamon rolls are best eaten straight out of the oven. So just pull them apart. This is a good tear and share kind of a breakfast. Everybody gets to pull apart their own one and then eat it while it's still warm. My favorite part is the middle of the cinnamon roll because there's just so much cinnamon. Oh my gosh. These are gooey and sticky and everything you would want from a cinnamon roll. No more will you have to wait hours for freshly baked cinnamon rolls. This recipe is an absolute game changer. Remember, if you make it, rate it on my website because I always love to know what you think. I'll see you back here really soon for more bigger, bolder baking.